Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to look at Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson. So this one has got two main guitar riffs in it. The one I just played, which is on clean guitar, and then the big chorus riff, which is real fun to play and a lot easier than that part. And then we have two guitar solos, which were performed by Steve Stevens. So I'm going to take a look at those as well. So we're going to take it in that order. Now, we are tuned down a half step. I'm sure you have seen, if you're a fan of the song and you're looking around, see most of it saying it's in standard. When I listen to it, I hear the low E flat quite obviously in that main riff, in that opening verse riff. I believe it's tuned down a half step, and that's the way you can actually make it sound like the original recording. So we're going to have that. We'll tune down every note down, every string down a half step. I'll have the notes in the description. And then we can get to work. Now this opening riff, not played by Steve Stevens. Michael Jackson's had a couple of guys. He usually played all the rhythm guitar work on his albums. Great session guitarist by the name of Paul Jackson Jr. and David Williams. So those are going to be the guys you're hearing do the rhythm guitar parts, and then Steve Stevens for the two solos. So let's take a look here at this main riff. It's got a very strange rhythm about it, and a lot of times you'll see it transcribed as like single note bass lines. But if you listen close to the recording, you can hear the top note of that power chord. It's actually power chords that are being played on the low E string, off the low E string. So it sounds like this. All right, so what am I doing there? I'm going to start with a power chord nice and light off the 4th fret of the low E string. And then you're going to hit the 4th fret on the D and the G together. So it's like kind of there's a lot of dynamics in this riff. So you play it nice and soft, then you hit that pretty loud. And then you do back to that same power chord and do 4, 2, 4. So we have this. All right, now instead of actually hitting, you can hit the low E string to do that little transition, but he actually doesn't really hit it the first time he plays it. He just jumps to this power chord at the 2nd fret off the A string, and it's a 3-note power chord. So you have that note, but you have those 2 notes in it as well on the D and the G string at the 4th fret. And then you're going to grab lightly the power chord here of the 2nd fret of the low E string, and then jump up to the power chord off the 4th fret of the A string. And once again, the 3-string power chord. So we have this. All right, now we're going to come back around, and we're going to get there by going back to the 2nd fret power chord here off the low E string and sliding up 2 frets with it. And then immediately grabbing the 4th fret there on the D and the G again. So we have this so far. All right, little pause, and then you do that little 4-2-4 power chord. And now we get to use the low E open string, which shows that this is actually tuned a half step down, because you can't get that note otherwise. And it makes sense that it would be tuned down because the song's in G minor, and the chord progression is just really, for the verse, is this G, E flat, F. So obviously tuning down to that E flat makes sense. And we just now, in this second time through, after we did the slide up and the power chords, we end up by going just like with the low E open, nice and low, just kind of palm muted. And then that same power chord at the 2nd fret of the A string, the 3-string power chord. Then the nice and light, the 2nd fret power chord off the low E. And then same power chord we ended it for the first time. So we have this. So we have this. And then start over. right, now after we've played that clean guitar riff a few times, we have a little transition that takes us into the chorus. And you can play that just by playing the first fret here off the A and the D string. And then that's the little build up. It's the last line before the chorus. So that's just, you can play the first fret of the A and the D nice and soft, and then the power chord here at the 6th fret of the of the A string. All right, now we get to the actual big main chorus riff. Sounds like this. All right, so now later in the song that repeats, and you don't need to do the chords. You can just do continue with the same riff. So we're going to do this by sliding into the 6th fret there on the A string, and it's kind of palm muted. Then over to the 4th fret on the D, so with it. Then back down to 6 on the A, then back 4, and back 6 again. So then go over to the 4th fret of the G string, over to the 6th fret of the D. Let that ring some vibrato. He uses the bar probably. And then do that riff again. Third time through, he does it a little different. So that's just going slide up to 6, over to 4 again, back to the 6, and then stop. Then hit 6 one more time, and then jump over to the 4 on the G string, and back to 6 on the D. So we have this. And then the 4th time through is just like the first 2 times. So let me do that together. And then later in the song, just repeat. All right, so straight into it, just like normal. All right, now we've got to get to these crazy guitar solos. So these guitar solos got a lot of stuff going on. So let me turn. So they are going to be kind of hard to recreate exactly, just because of the way that they're performed. And there's a lot of whammy bar stuff going on and stuff. But let me play through the first one for you real quick, and then I'll break it down for you phrase by phrase. All right, so what is going on there? So, like I said, it's just kind of the nature of the solo, just kind of going for broke here. So now this, I've seen Jennifer Batten play this a little bit, but kind of jumping back and forth between this, doing that little muted note here. So you can do it that way as well, and she does it great. But I'm going to do it here, so you don't have to move around as much. All right, so we're doing that little kind of palm muted. You're gonna hit it like 4 times. It's a quick little down up on the 11th fret of the A string, and then you're gonna grab the 14th fret on the G, the B and the high E string. Then you do the kind of hit it a couple times, and then you do the little mutes there at the 11th fret, and then you have this. All right, so we have this 9/11 done twice on the D string. Then do a little hammer onto 11, pull back off to 9. Then the same thing at the 9/11 on the A string. And then just play the 9th fret there on the low E string and slide down. All right, and then we're back to doing this. Now what he's doing there, he's just kind of going back and forth between the muted notes and that double stop. You can play it with the 3rd finger if you want. And then, so when he goes back, it's sometimes like the 2nd and 4th time especially. he'll kind of pull off to the double stop here at the 12th fret. So it is. You know, so he ends up doing it 5 times. And then he goes into the muted note and then jumps up and grabs that big bend. Now it is a 2 whole step bend, and it goes into this little blues lick that looks like this. Sounds out of key, but that's the note he plays. So what it is, we're gonna have a big bend. You're at the 19th fret there on the B string, 2 whole step bend. You can just do a pre-bend if you want. Release, pull off to the 16th fret, over to 14 on the G, back to 16. I'm sorry. That is not 14. That's 18, and then back to 16 on the B. And then you get to this repetitive, but that is a whole step bend at the 18th fret there on the G string. Pull off to 16, and then play 18, 16 on the D. Now he does it 5 or 6 times. Actually, I think he does it 5 times. And on the 6th time, you hold that bend and then grab the 20th fret on the high E string with it. All right, so we have this. And then he has this little lick that he does at the end. So that is going to be pulling off 21 to 18, and then pulling off on the B string 19 to 18. Do it 3 or 4 times. And end it with a whole step bend there, the 21st fret on the high E string. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy solo. The Alto Solo, which I'm getting ready to play for you right now, is a little bit more cohesive and easier to kind of get, except for the very beginning, which is this crazy whammy bar stuff. All right, so let me play that for you real quick, and then we'll take a look at it. And then at that point, it just kind of dissolves into ray gun madness or whatever. Steve Stevens might have brought his ray gun to that session too. So now let's take a look at this solo. So this has those kind of really cool licks in it though. So we're gonna start with just a whammy bars thing. And he's just got holding the D string starting around the 4th fret. And as you go up, just kind of do the bar dives. And then you're going to grab the double stop here at the top when you get to the 18th fret. Hit that a couple times, and then you're going to grab the the 16th fret across the D, G, and the B. Then it's a quick little whammy bar work, and then he has it. So that's a bend here at the bend and release there at the 19th fret. Pull off to the 16th fret. And then pick 18 twice on the G string and pull off to 16. And then 18, 16 on the D string. Then same thing, 18, 16 on the A. Down to 14. Over to 16 on the low E string, and then back to the 14 on the A twice, and end it with the 16th fret there. So it is. All right, next phrase. So that's just starting with you can just grab it with your thumb here, the 4th fret on the low E really quickly. And then we start the actual. And that's just 4-6 on the A, heavily palm muted. 4, 6 on the D, and then 4 on the G, over to 6 on the D string. All right, and now we have this lick that he does in just an octave up and then an octave down, and it's a really cool lick. All right, so slide into the 18th fret on the A string, hit it twice, then over to the 16th fret of the G string twice, back to the 18th fret on the A string twice, play this, and then once on the 16th fret on the G, over to the 18th fret on the D string. So just repeat that. Then take that exactly 12 frets down. Now, so he actually, up here, he does it first. Then he does it again. And then down an octave. And that's when the kind of that little effect comes in there. But you can still hear the guitarist going, kind of repeating the riff. Kind of over and over again over that outro chorus. All right, so it's a fun song. It's got some cool licks in it, and some challenging rhythm guitar parts as well. So it's a great song to learn for anybody who's a Michael Jackson fan or even isn't a Michael Jackson fan. It's a great one to learn. All right, I'll see you guys soon for guitarlessons365.com.